All right. Welcome to the Mad Empire team call. I know we have some Tenaciously Fierce babes on here as well, but it is June 9th. I'm going to share my screen, go quickly over recognition, and then I will toss it over to our amazing guest speaker. So far in June, here is our leaderboard. We have 25 lives changed. Crazy. So on the board so far is Zoe, Allison signing her first person up ever, Taylor signing her first person up. So same with Alexandra and Sydney signing up 2 people. And then SC5 is Claudia Garcia, who is going to go Emerald this week, which is super exciting. Gianna Rossi, I'm at Success Club 6, and then SC10 is Brittany and Madison, which is so freaking awesome to see them higher than me. I'm just a little bit competitive, so I'm like, that's going to be changed. I'm just kidding. I just love being able to say, like, these are lives changed, and it's so stinking cool, because before it was, like, my name, my spouse's name, you know, like in one other person, and so to be able to see it just develop year after year is just super freaking cool. And then, as you can see, Coach of the Week is Brittany Chapman. I don't know if you guys have been following her, but holy moly, this girl is like ass on fire, texting me every single day. She's one of Madison's personally sponsored coaches, but she's pushing for Diamond like I've never seen before. She started back in, I think, the beginning of the year, and got a really amazing transformation, and then just recently, like 2 weeks ago, went all in with coaching, and she's already has 5 coaches signed up. She has her controlled business center. She's just rocking and rolling and wants to know all the things and like wants to be better. So it's so cool to see like that personality. So like, let's follow her momentum. Like, let's get on that same train and really feel that same vibe. So congrats, Britt. Keep rocking it. And she also said I'm really intimidating, which I was like, what? She's like, I can't ask you questions. You're so intimidating. I'm like, chill out. But we have 11 new coaches added to the team in the last 7 days. And then also just a reminder to Thursday, the 11th, is our team date night. Basically what is happening is I'm writing up a menu. I'm going to post it tonight, and we're all going to have those ingredients, but you have to go Emerald again to get the link for that call. So basically if you add 2 coaches anywhere in June, you'll get the link to that call, and then we'll have a fun like wine and cook together and just have a fun little dinner. I did it on a Thursday just because I feel like more people are home. So going Emerald again, even if you're already an Emerald coach, that is your push. So you have 2 more days left to get into that fun little VIP night. And then one last reminder is just if you hit Diamond before June 18th and you hold for 6 weeks, you'll have your $50 deposit waived for our team retreat in September in Scottsdale. And then just the last thing I wanted to say before I throw it over is just the term overwhelm, right? When we think of overwhelm, it's really what it is us just learning so many new things and not knowing where to center our focus. So if you're feeling overwhelmed in your life, in your business, in your fitness journey, pick one thing. And I want you guys to put in the comments, what is one thing you're going to focus on tomorrow and through the rest of the week to like control the overwhelm, right? To like focus your mind that it's going to better you 1% if you focus on this one thing from now until the end of the week. So don't think about, I have to send invites and I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to show up for here and I have to log in this group. Like, think of the one thing that you can control right now to help relax your mind in that thought of overwhelm, okay? So write it down for yourself. You can see it, but I just wanted to write that one concept because I heard that on my PD this morning and I was like, I have felt overwhelmed. I know a lot of us have with everything going on. So I just wanted to touch on that. Okay. So Kasey, I'm going to mess up your last name because I'm going to like butcher it, but Kasey Kretsch, she's been a coach for 4 years. She is in 2-star qual right now. She's Success Club 5 legend, so 24 months. And if you're a new coach, Success Club means you've helped 3 people every single month for over 24 months, basically over 2 years. SC10 for the last year. She was a former English teacher, and she just turned full-time coach, which is super exciting. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll throw it over to you.
All right. Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, awesome. So I'm really excited. I've had like the biggest girl crush on Maddie for the longest time because I love watching her stories and stuff. But we've been like trying to collaborate on a call for the longest time. So this has finally worked. And part of the reason is because life is just crazy. It seriously is. And that is part of the reason why, part of why I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to talk to you tonight. Because I started in this business 4 years ago. And I don't know if any of you, I'm sure you realize when your life from 21 to 25, you're a completely different person than you were when you were 21. Like, it's only 4 years and it doesn't seem like that much, but like so much changes. You graduate college, you get your first job, like you become an adult, which I don't even really feel like sometimes, but I've had so many transitions in my life. My life is completely different than it was from when I started coaching. My why for why I started coaching is completely different now than it was then. And so part of what I'm going to talk about with you guys tonight is how to take risks, how to go all in your business in times of uncertainty, when your life is changing, when there's things going on in the world that are out of our control. And I'm going to give you some like tactical things, but I really just want to kind of give you a pep talk. And I want to just talk about the mindset of how you get through these times when you have transitions, you have changes in your life, when maybe you're in a rut, maybe you're watching people rank advance and you're not. I sat at 1-star for a year and I watched people hit 4-star and I sat back for the longest time and I was like pissed about it. And then I realized it was me. And so with all of the transitions that I have gone through in my life, I've learned a lot about how to work with my mindset and how to really just continue through those things and still focus on my business. And so I'm going to go through my story a little bit. So when I started, when I was 21, my anxiety, I suffer from anxiety. It started like at the beginning of college in my freshman year. And my senior year of college, well, it was like the summer before my senior year, it got the worst. It was so bad. I was just about to go into student teaching. A lot of my friendships and relationships in my life were kind of starting to like fade away. And it was really weird for me because I had never felt this sense of being alone before. I had never really felt that before. And I was 100% in this place where I was letting other people determine my worth as a person. And I just kept thinking, okay, if I can't keep these friendships, if I can't keep these relationships, like what the heck is wrong with me? How come nobody wants to stay? And so my anxiety was at its peak and health and fitness was my outlet. I had control over my health and fitness anyway. I was obsessed. I was a bit obsessive. When I started coaching, I was actually like 15 pounds underweight. But health and fitness was like the one thing in my life that I went to because it was the only thing that I was like, this is my passion. I feel like I'm in control here. It can be my outlet. And then I got invited into a free group from my coach. And I was never a client before I became a coach, you guys. I was in a free group and I remember getting into that group and thinking, okay, this is bomb. Like this random girl on Instagram just invited me into this group and there's this group of like 30 people who are focusing on their health and fitness for a week. And I was like, I could totally create groups like that. I could 100%. This seems so cool. And so the reason why I want to emphasize that is because I always like to remind people, don't forget to invite people to the business because I didn't really need the workouts. I had it under control. And there are people who need the business, and that's what I needed. I didn't have time. I was going into student teaching, which is a full-time job while you're also taking classes. And so I didn't have time. I didn't have money. I was a college student and I couldn't work because I was student teaching. But I knew that I could create these groups. I knew that I could create these communities and I could probably make a little bit of money. I was confident in that. So if my coach would have never invited me to that free group and saw that in me and invited me right there, she didn't invite me to her boot camp. She asked me if I wanted to be a coach right there on the spot. And so don't forget that there are people out there who need the business. And that's really important to not forget about. I went through then my first year teaching, and this is the one time in my business, you guys, where I almost quit because like your first year teaching is crazy. I was living and breathing school. I was living and breathing teaching. And I remember calling my coach crying, and I remember saying, I don't want to quit, but I don't know what else to do. I don't have control over anything in my life right now. My job is running my life. It's the only thing I have. And she just said to me, Kasey, I really think that you just need to dive into why you started in the first place. Like, why are you here? You know, why is it different now than it was before? And it really wasn't that different. It was just that my life has now changed a little bit, and I didn't know how to adjust. I wasn't taking the action to adjust to how my life was changing. I wasn't adjusting my business to how my life was changing. And I realized that I needed to do that. And so then I went into my second year of teaching, and my business was booming. It was awesome. I had hit diamond. I had hit 1-star. Life was good. Second year of teaching. I'm out of my first year. It was awesome. And then I decided into my third year, I was going to throw something else into the mix, and I was going to completely change schools. And so it was another first year all over again. It was even harder than my first year because I was teaching in a really small school. So instead of only teaching 8th grade English, I started teaching 7th grade English, 8th grade English, and 10th grade English. And I also was put in charge of the yearbook, and I was also the speed and conditioning coach for the volleyball team. So it was like, I thought that after my first year, everything was going to get better. And then I was going to have so much time for my business. I felt like I was certain that as I went on in life, there was going to be a time when coaching was going to get easier. And there was going to be a time when it would just feel so natural, when I wasn't actually taking the actions to adjust my business to how my life was adjusting. And so naturally, when I went into this time when my life got crazier, my business started to suffer. And I remember so many people saying to me, Kasey, why don't you just take a break from coaching? Why don't you just take a break from coaching? Because you have so much on your plate. And I was like, I am spending 12 to 13 hours a day being a teacher and a coach and a yearbook advisor. And I'm spending maybe an hour a day on my coaching business. How come people are telling me to take away that one thing? When my coaching business has been the thing that has been constant through all of my transitions in my life, it has been the one constant that has been there for me. It was the one thing that I had been passionate about. It was the one thing that I really poured into, and it really poured into who I was rather than taking away from who I was, and rather than trying to demand that I pour my entire life into it. It was just a passion, and I loved it. So why would I throw that away? That doesn't make any sense to me. Coaching is my solution to these problems. Coaching is my solution. And after I got through my first year, and after I got through the anxiety of of what was going on in my life, after I got through student teaching, I knew that I could get through this hard year because I knew that coaching was my solution. I knew that I was worthy of so much more. I knew that I was worthy of happiness, and I was worthy of living a life that wasn't just full of burnout. And so every single day when it was hard for me to sit down at 10 p.m. to work, like after I got done grading my papers, because that was usually the time, I reminded myself of that fact. I reminded myself of the fact that this is my solution. I have to do this because this is the one thing that I can pour into. This is the only thing I have for me right now. And so this is what I need. And so right now, that mindset that I was able to keep is the only reason why right now I was able to go full-time with coaching, because my boyfriend of 6 years randomly decided to drop on me that he wanted to become a police officer. And so we are moving, and he's already moving, and he's in the middle of training and the academy and everything like that. But if I would have stopped and let go of my goals in that time, then I wouldn't be able to just pick up my life and move with him in order to support him in this new journey. We would still be long distance, and he would be going through that by himself, and I would still be living the ridiculous stress that I was. And so the fact that I was able to keep that mindset, that was my solution, that has gotten me to where I am now. And that didn't mean that I was putting in 6 to 7 hours a day. I was working when I could, but I was consistently working when I could. It's not always all about putting in a ridiculous amount of hours. I always tell my coaches, I would rather have you work an hour a day every single day rather than working 6 hours on Monday and then not working Tuesday and Wednesday, and then 6 hours on Thursday and then not working Friday and Saturday, all of those things. It's the consistency of showing up every single day that got me to where I am. And it's so important. And so I want you to think about for a second that in your moments in your life, when you feel that overwhelm that Maddie was talking about, right? When it just feels like there's so much going on, if you are willing to throw in the towel on the goals that you have put into place, are you really committed? And I want you to like really think about that. If you are willing to let go of your goals in the one moment that you are feeling overwhelmed, are you really committed to your business? Are you actually giving it your all? Are you actually giving your business the attention and the passion that it deserves? Or are you just kind of here? And that consistency, you guys, is so important in that part, because our business, it's really not hard. Like, it takes hard freaking work. It does. It takes hard work to show up every single day. But the actual tasks that we have to do on a daily basis are not super difficult tasks. We are able to do those things in the midst of our full-time jobs, in the midst of raising families, because of the fact that all it takes is consistency. All it takes is willing to grow. Okay. And so you need to think about, if you are willing to throw in the towel on your goals, are you really, really committed? And honestly, there's nothing wrong with the fact of just being here for the community. There's really nothing wrong with that. I remember when I started coaching and I got put into all the groups and stuff, and I remember thinking, like, I honestly don't care if I never make a dime in this business, because being here and being surrounded by all of these people who are so focused on their health and fitness, and all of these people who are bettering their life, it's worth it just being here in this space, even if I don't make a dime in the business. And so if that's you, then that's great. Honestly, it is great. But if you have big goals for your business, then you really need to get clear on the effort that you are putting in. Is the effort that you are putting in and the passion that you are putting into your daily tasks consistent with your goals? You need to like check yourself, because it's really easy to kind of fall off of that and not realize that maybe you're not. Maybe the actions that you're taking are not actually consistent with your goal, And is the drive, regardless of what's going on in your life, the drive that you have for this business, is that consistent with your goals? Those are things that you should be asking yourself every single day. When you sit down and you get done working every single day, you need to ask yourself, the action that I put in today, is that getting me to my goals? Like, think of it every single night, you guys. Not all of a sudden 3 weeks down the road and you're like, this month, because we work in months, we hit Success Club in a month and everything starts over at the end of the month, right? In a new month. And so it's really easy to look at the end of the month and say, okay, well, I didn't really work as hard this month. Don't wait till the end of the month to ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question every single night. And then it will be that much easier to keep your mind focused on what you are trying to accomplish. The other thing that I want you to understand is that our brains naturally, you guys, don't do well with uncertainty. Like, it's our human nature. When we don't know what is going to happen next, it is our instincts to cower. It's kind of that like fight or flight instinct that we have. So right now, in this world, there's so much freaking uncertainty, you guys. There is a really good chance that your life is somehow affected by all the things that are going on, whether it's COVID, whether it's all of the racial injustices that are happening, whether it is law enforcement and all of there's a really good chance that your life is somewhere with the people around you affected by that. And maybe on top of that stuff, you probably have other things going on. If you have another full-time job, if you're trying to take care of your family, if you're trying to balance a social life, all of those things. And so I want to just preach to you for a second what I preach to my clients and my coaches all the time, because this is one of our biggest models. It is what I remind them constantly all the time, is to just breathe and take a second and know that you are a strong person. Like, you are capable of accomplishing hard things. And you cannot belittle yourself. You cannot look down on yourself by trying to tell yourself that you cannot accomplish hard things. All you're doing is belittling yourself. Do not place judgment and disrespect on yourself that you would not place on your daughter, on your best friend, on your student, on your sister. You wouldn't place it on them. So why would you place it on yourself? Why would you be so hard on yourself? And in the times of uncertainty and the times when things are hard, why would you belittle yourself and just say, I just can't do it? You are strong and you are capable of doing hard things. And uncertainty is hard for us because it is scary. And it's a lot easier for us to honestly sit back in the corner and not take action, because if we take action in times when we are uncertain, we are afraid of falling on our faces. And that's hard. And it takes courage to stand up and do those things. But honestly, you need to think, you need to realize that fear should not own you. Like, you cannot live your life with fear owning you. Okay, you can still overcome those things. Even though that fear is there, great. Grab it, take a hold of it, and say, I'm really kind of freaked out right now. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I am strong and I am capable of hard things. And so I can still do it. Think about everything else, honestly, that you guys have gone through in your life. I see some of you guys have kids. There are people over here in this call that are in different phases of life. But regardless, you've gone through things in your life that are a lot harder than showing up and doing a power hour. Graduating high school, a lot harder than sending invites. Graduating college, a lot harder than sending invites. Finding your self-worth after maybe a bad relationship, finding your self-worth after you have a baby and your body has completely changed, all of those things are a lot freaking harder than sending invites. If you can do those things, girl, you can send an invite. It's just a message. It's not that hard. It takes courage and it's hard and we have to step out of our comfort zone, but it's not a difficult action. And if you compare it to the things that you have already accomplished in your life, it is minuscule. It's tiny. The worst that could happen is somebody says no. Why are we so afraid of that? We don't need to be afraid of that. Remind yourself that you've got this. Remind yourself that you can handle it in the times of uncertainty. Pull it in. Realize, why am I uncertain right now? What is it that I think might happen? Am I actually thinking worst case scenario? Because what is best case scenario? Can I focus on that instead? One of my top coaches, you guys, she signed up like 2 months after I started coaching. And I look back at our conversation of when I originally invited her. I swear the message was this long, you guys. I word vomited everything. It was so bad, but she's my top coach now. But in that moment, I was so afraid to send that invite because I was so afraid that she was going to say no. But how come in that moment, I didn't think, well, what if she says yes? In that moment, I didn't think that she would be my top coach. I literally sent the message through the phone on the couch and ran away because I was scared. But sometimes you have to do that. And every single time that you do that, every single time that you take action through uncertainty, you build confidence. That is why I preach to my new coaches all the time. You don't need to know all the things as a coach. I think in my first month as a coach, I hit Emerald. I think I barely even knew what Emerald was. But I had confidence in myself because I was just taking action and I was learning as I was going. And honestly, the more you sit kind of on the edge of being half in and half out, the more uncertain you are because you haven't made a decision. And so when you sit on that edge of being half out, half in and half out, you're actually making it harder on yourself. When you make that decision to just be all in, you're making yourself more confident. So sometimes you just have to take that risk. You have to jump all in. You will probably stumble. You will stumble. Even though in that moment, honestly, it was in my first year of teaching that I first thought I could go full-time with coaching. It was probably the end of my second year of coaching where I was really I'm freaking going all in with coaching. But you know what? That third year of teaching, after I decided that I wanted to go all in and go full-time with coaching, I still stumbled. There were still so many freaking hard days. There were so many days where I felt unbelievably defeated, but every single day that I felt defeated and then decided to still pick myself up and take action, I built more confidence in myself as a coach. All you are doing by not taking action is just hurting your confidence more. You're hurting yourself by not doing it. So take that risk, jump in, know that you are stronger. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to want to be a full-time coach. That's not everybody's goal. That was my goal. But whatever it is that you want out of this business, you need to be clear on that, and you need to be taking the action that is consistent with that goal. Maybe that's to get rid of your student loans. Maybe it's to pay off your car. Maybe it's to afford a better house. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, you need to take action that will get you there. And you have to jump all in with that. And you need to be consistent and you need to be committed. So with that, just some tactical things that you can do if you find yourself in a rut. Some actual things that you can do, take action on in your business if you find yourself in a rut. First thing that I want you to understand is that it is your responsibility to get yourself out of a rut. It is not your upline's responsibility to get you out of a rut. And I've been in that place before where I sit back and I watch other people rank advance and I see my upline coach recognizing all of these people and I'm just like, she doesn't even know that I'm hurting. She has no idea, which my upline coach is like one of my best friends. But it's like we often get into this mindset that we're just kind of like waiting for our upline coach to notice and just waiting for them to send us this message that's going to give us this grand solution that's going to solve all of our problems. And it's not a thing, you guys. Your upline knows, okay? They see things. They know, they can probably tell by watching your stories when you're off. Okay, it's things that we learn when you become a leader in your business, okay? But it is up to you. You are actually doing yourself a disservice by expecting them to pull you up because you are capable of doing it yourself. So it is your responsibility to take action and get yourself out of a rut. I remember I kind of reframed my thinking from like, how come she's not noticing that I'm struggling to, okay, I'm struggling. So I'm going to figure out what I'm struggling. I'm going to come up with a solution and then I'm just going to let her know, hey, Sammy, I'm really freaking struggling right now. Like, I don't really know exactly, like I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with this, but I've really been thinking about it and this is what I'm going to do in order to solve the problem. And then, you know, we have a good conversation about it, but it's really, really hard. It's not good for you and it's not good for anyone in, oh, did the sound just go away? Can you guys still hear me? No? Okay, cool. But it's not good for anyone involved. It's not good for you. It's not good for your upline. It's not good for your team, for the community, for the culture. You have to figure out what your solution is and then collaborate with your upline coach. Do it. Let them know. They want to know, but it's still your responsibility. Okay. The other thing is that I want you to really dive into what you love about coaching. And the number one thing is the program that you are doing. That is the number one thing. On my team, we are always fitness first. We are always be a product of the product first, always 100%. And so if you are not loving the program that you're doing, change. Like straight up change. I tried bar, you guys, and Maddie freaking crushed bar. And I tried bar for like 2 days. And I was like, I cannot do this. I literally can't do this. I will hate my life trying to work out every single day. And so I was just like, whatever. I shared the crap and recognized the crap out of all of my coaches who were doing bar so that I could still get people who were interested in it. But I was like, I will not be excited to work out. I will not be excited about my business if I'm doing a program that I don't love. And so you have permission to change programs because it's more important for you to love what you're doing and to live a life as a health coach than it is anything else. That is number one. And then the other thing that I want to ask you is like, are you actually making health coach decisions? Do you believe that you are a health coach? Like, do you actually give yourself that title? Do you actually feel that you are worthy of that? And if you don't feel like you're worthy of that, is it because the decisions that you're making on a daily basis don't actually add up to what health coaches would make on a daily basis? Sometimes it is a business decision to be consistent with your nutrition because people are watching you, and you cannot have as much passion about telling your clients and your coaches to be strict on their nutrition in order to get them goals if you aren't even doing that. There was a time where I was so stressed out. I'm a convenience eater, you guys. I hate cooking. I hate it with my whole life. I'm not good at it. If I have bread and peanut butter in my cabinet, I will eat that only. It's so bad. That's why I have to meal prep and stuff. But when I get really stressed, I make bad decisions about those things. And there was a time in the middle of my 3rd year of teaching where I literally wrote on my mirrors all over my apartment, "You are a health coach, make health coach decisions." And it helped me keep that mindset. And that in itself just puts you in the mindset of realizing that this is your job. You are worthy of it because you're living the life to do it. And that will help pull you out of that rut. Are you diving into the community? Are you truly showing up on team calls, which you guys are here, but are you consistently showing up on team calls? Are you diving into the community? That's huge. And then the other thing is to be innovative with the groups that you're running. Come up with something new. And it doesn't need to be like completely recreating everything that you already do. But when I was teaching this last year, I was waking up at 4 a.m. and I did not put my head on the pillow to go to sleep until 10 p.m. And it was go, 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 go. And so people were watching me. I had such a strict routine, you guys. It was like down to the minute of when I was going to drink my Energize, when I was going to like open up my Miracle Morning Zoom. Like it was down to the minute. And so people were watching me do this routine. And so I was like, okay, well, how can I take this and put this into my group somehow? And all I did was I created a routine tracker. You can also find one. You don't have to go out and make like a new graphic and stuff, but you can also go find resources because they're everywhere. And all I did was created this routine. And instead of only inviting to my boot camp, join my boot camp, I said, I'm running my boot camp and we're really going to focus on routines this month. And I'm going to give you a tracker and I'm going to help walk you through how to run your routine. And so it was something new and exciting for me to look forward to. And it was something new to my audience because at some point your audience has heard boot camp 4 million times. You need to come up with something new. If your invite from 2 months ago is exactly the same, if you're running the exact same group and you are inviting, following up with somebody with the exact same group 3 months later, you need to try something different. You have to get innovative, and it doesn't need to be anything big and crazy, but just think about what you are good at on a daily basis and how can you turn that into how you can serve your clients in your groups. And that will help you come out of your rut because you just have something new and exciting to really work on. And then the last thing is make big goals. Be excited about them and actually believe that you can do them. And even if that means that you need to stand in front of your mirror every single day and you need to say, I am an elite coach. I don't know what your goals are, but that's my goal right now. And so I have on my mirror, I have 5-star elite. I have leadership invite. I have all of my goals are literally written all over my apartment. Okay. Have big goals. But the thing that is important to realize is that you cannot be so focused on that big goal that you don't celebrate your little goals. And this is the last thing that I'll say, like you need to celebrate your little like daily goals. If invites are hard for you and you sent 20 invites on Monday, you should be celebrating like freaking crazy. That should be just as exciting as becoming a 2-star. Do not become so focused on the big picture that you're constantly waiting until you accomplish the big picture that you don't celebrate the little victories along the way. That's the important part, because when you put your head down and you focus on those little victories along the way, all of a sudden you wake up and you're at your big goal. And you didn't even realize it because you had your head down and you were just celebrating all of the little things that you did along the way. Those are the things that have always helped me get out of a rut as I've transitioned through life and as all of the things have changed for me in the last couple of years. Those are all the things that I've done. And also, sorry, last thing, but a bomb playlist, like straight up, a amazing playlist that when you put it on, you want to dance around and you are freaking excited to show up and work your business. And that will also help you. That's a small thing, but it helps. It's those little things that do help. So that's what I got for you guys.
Love it. Awesome. I love it. I always like when you talk about some stuff, I'm like, that is so like Sam, you guys are so similar. I love it. Does anyone have any questions? I wrote down a couple. I can start it off, but let's ask her just a couple things and then we'll let you go. The first thing I said was, do you invite to coaching and boot camps? Or are you specifically one or the other? Kind of both?
I invite to coaching and boot camps. I kind of split up my month. Right now I have really big goals of hitting 5-star. And so my main focus is getting business builders right now. That's where I'm at in my business. Early on in my business, I was really focused on just getting clients, and that's just the way that it was. But I split up my month where the first half of the month I am solely inviting to coaching, and I'm running like a coaching sneak peek of some sort. And then about halfway through the month, I kind of flip and I start inviting to just like boot camps after that. I just split it.
Yeah. I do kind of the similar thing. How do you go about inviting to coaching? Chelsea just asked.
So part of this, I mean, this is a big question, but part of this is making sure that you know your prospects. Like if I ask you who your top 10 prospects are right now and you don't know, that's a problem. You should have a list of people that you are checking on, that you are engaging with, and that you want to be your coaches on your team. So the way that I do that is you guys, I'm sure you know, you can like save pictures on Instagram and you can save them to collections, that like little bookmark in the right hand corner. And I have a collection that just says future coaches, and I will save one of their pictures to it. And I go through that probably every other day and I engage with them. And so then by the time I actually invite them, we have a relationship built already, which is really important. And at that point, then it's as simple as like, I always send voice memos for coaching invites, always. I will always, they're kind of scary at first and you like don't really know, but like they hear your passion. They know that it's not just like a copy and paste message. And I think when you're inviting to coaching, that trust factor is really important. So, and it really is as simple as like, I honestly think that you would be a great fit for the team. I think you would love the community so much, and like your positivity, whatever. I like flood them with compliments of why I have decided that they would be a good coach. And then I just say, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And I know that they've been watching me. I talk about coaching on my stories. I know that they've been watching my stories, so they have a general idea of what I do. We've built this relationship. And so from there on out, the conversation is not awkward and weird, because it's just, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And 9 times out of 10, it's like, you know, I've thought about it, but blah, 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 blah. But at least planting the seed is really important.
So true. When you're inviting, do you do it on direct messages or just a story? Like, do you do direct messages to people that you're like inviting?
I do. So I do like polls and stuff on my stories and everything. But anytime I post like a progress picture, I go through anybody who liked my picture and I invite them. There are times where I seriously, you guys, I will go to my followers and I will type in A, and I will start going down the list of people's names that start with A, and I will invite them. And then I will type in B, and then I start going down the list, because it brings up people that are watching my stories that I didn't even realize were watching my stories, because they're not at like the top list or whatever. So I do both. I do call to actions on my stories, and I do direct invites too.
Yeah, Danielle was saying, I was so focused on trying to get people to sign up the first couple weeks. I got so many no's that I felt like I burnt a bridge with those people. Do you have anything to say to that?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on why they said no, but like don't put thoughts into their head if you don't know. Because there have been so many times where, you guys, I send, if I think I want somebody on my team, I will, even if they ghost me, I will continue to invite them. And there have been times where on the 4th invite, I seriously think like, this person is so annoyed with me, whatever, but I'm just going to send them one more invite. And then they say, thank you for continuing to invite. Like, I'm ready now. So sometimes we think worst case scenario, and you don't even know if they're actually thinking those things. So I wouldn't be afraid of that. I would continue to, if they said no, continue to build that relationship. put them in a free group or anything like that. Just keep checking in with them and see how things are going, and then they know that you care, and that's the important part.
Love it. Any other questions? One that I was gonna say is last one probably. But best tips for a coach that has like 4 to 5 active coaches right now, and they're really pushing for diamond, but they're in that middle part, which I feel like is a lot of our team right now, and it's probably a lot of your team. It's like, yeah, it's getting to emerald easy, but it's that middle ground between emerald and diamond that feels like this long trek.
So I think a lot of my coaches, what I have noticed is they get in this mindset of, I have nobody else to invite. And I think that if you really want it, you can get creative with who you invite. Diamond is 12 people, you guys. Diamond is 12 coaches. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not very many people. And it's kind of in that time where you have 4 to 5 coaches where it starts to feel like it's a lot of people when you're like almost halfway there. And so staying consistent is really important. Following up with people, don't forget to do your follow-ups. That is so important, because the people that you invited 2 months ago, they might be ready now. And so those follow-ups are really important. But some of my coaches have really dug into like actually just different ways to invite people. Even if they, like, one of my coaches is a law enforcement girlfriend, and she's in a law enforcement group on Facebook. And she like posted in there once or something like that, and some people commented on it, and she started inviting those people, and she signed up 2 people from that. Don't limit yourself on who you think might sign up. And then 10x your actions. That was the biggest thing for me when I hit diamond. I sat down and I was like, I'm doing no excuses. I'm going to hit diamond, because at that time I could earn a trip if I hit diamond. And so I was like, I'm going to freaking do this. And so I woke up at 4 a.m. and I invited for an hour. And then I worked out, and then I went to school, and then I came home and I graded papers, and then I invited for another hour. I 10x'd everything. And it was a little bit overwhelming at the time, but the more I did it and the more I got into the routine of doing that much work, the more it felt natural. The only reason why it feels unnatural to do that much work is because you haven't set the routine of doing that much work. So being really productive with your time is so important. I set timers on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you type in like 5-minute timer, and it puts this huge 5-minute timer on your computer, and I do that, and I'm so productive with my time. And that's, discipline is the most important thing when you are pushing for that extra bit. But then the other last thing I would say is make sure that you aren't forgetting about the people who are already there, because the hardest thing is when you get 7 coaches and then people start to go inactive. So don't forget about the people who are already there. And then the more you serve them, the more you can recognize them, and the more it wants other people to join your team. So that was kind of a lot of stuff, but I would say essentially just like 10x your business, decide you're going to do it, and then serve the crap out of the people who are already there. Those 3 things I think are really important.
Yeah, I 1000% agree. All right. Any other questions? Don't be shy. All right. Let's take a quick picture, and then I will let you guys hop off and have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Go eat some tacos or something. All right. 3 last couple people. Danielle, Lizzie, Lauren, Katrina. No. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Sweet. All right. Thank you so much, Kasey. I really appreciate it and your time. I'm glad we finally connected.
I know, finally. It took like a year, but it's fine.
Literally, it's been since like the summer.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for having me, you guys.
Of course. All right. Have a good night, everyone.